Fani Willis requested this special grand jury and joins us now in an exclusive interview. District Attorney Willis, I appreciate your time tonight. Now that the special grand jury has been selected, can you just tell people who you plan to bring in as witnesses? Obviously, that call between the former president and Secretary Raffensperger is at the center of this investigation.
I can't discuss specific people that we plan to bring in. What I can tell you is during the course of our investigation to this point, we've had in excess of 50 people who have declined to talk to us voluntarily. And so what we plan to do is to start serving them with subpoenas, either directly or through attorneys if they've contacted attorneys, and bring them in before this panel so that they can hear from them.
What power do they have to resist those subpoenas?
I'm sure there'll be motions to quash filed, but I'm also confident that justice will play out and that the judge that is over this special purpose grand jury, as long as we meet the technicalities and do things appropriately, which of course we plan to do, that those subpoenas will be enforced and that they will come before the special purpose grand jury and testify.
And as I understand, the special grand jury, they will have authority to subpoena witnesses, documents, ask their own questions, but it can only recommend criminal charges. The actual charging decision falls to you. Do you have a timeline for a charging decision?
That's absolutely correct. A special purpose grand jury does have some special powers, and one of those is that they can, on their own, ask for certain documents to be subpoenaed, or they can say that they'd like to hear from certain witnesses. If one witness we bring in mentions someone and they think it's relevant, they can request that those people be brought in, and not request, but actually have a subpoenaed issue to bring those in. So that's an awesome power and responsibility. In terms of a timeline, I've just followed the course that we're going to let the evidence take us where it may. We have 1 year to do this. So from May today through May 31st of 2023. I do not anticipate it's going to take that long, though, but that would be how long we had.
And can you just talk about what the scope of your investigation is? What exactly are you looking at?
We are going to look at anything connected with interference with the 2020 election. And so I've allowed that to be a broad scope, not just the president's phone call that you played there, but other things that indicate that there may have been interference with that election, to include fake electorate.
So, yeah. I'm sorry, to include
fake electorates. I know that you're aware that that was done in our state, and so that is of interest to my office.
The fake electors. See, according to CNN's reporting, for today's jury selection, officials closed roads surrounding the courthouse, stationed snipers on the roofs. A person familiar with the situation said that prosecutors on your team have also been issued bulletproof vests. Can you just describe some of the threats that your office has been getting?
Well, you know, the audacity to conduct this investigation has made some people very angry. I know that my security team is particularly worried about my safety. We are, of course, also worried about the safety of the team that does this investigation. We do not intend to be intimidated, but I can tell you that in recent days, I've turned up on white supremacist pages, often with my face and very derogatory names. They are very displeased with the fact that I'm not only conducting this investigation, but they seem to be particularly concerned about another investigation that my office has done that I know you have reported on, which is the Asian spa killings and the fact that I asked for a hate crime in that. And so those kind of things bring great concern to the security that has to protect us.
It's my understanding that you've already met with former President Trump's attorneys at least twice. Have you, I don't know if you can say, have you met with them recently? And what's your sense of, did anything come out of that?
I have been in conversations with them recently, and I anticipate that we will have further conversations over the next few days. I would not say that anything fruitful has come out of those conversations at that point, other than respectful dialogue about what I plan to do. Last year, I met with the former president's legal counsel, and I assured them that I knew at that point I would not be going to a special purpose grand jury. I knew that we were not at that stage yet, that I was going to simply conduct an investigation, trying to ask witnesses to voluntarily come in. At the very end of last year, December to be exact, I met with them again to say that at this point I was confident that in this next year, being 2022, that I would be moving forward with greater investigative tools. And so we have kept our word on that. I've also made them a commitment that we can have very open dialogues. And so if there are things that they want to bring to me, of course they have no obligation to do so, that I'm here and I'm open and I'm willing to listen.
I just want to go back to something you mentioned before about fake electors. The Justice Department said that they are taking a look at fake electors. Are you aware of that investigation in terms of what happened in Georgia? And have you been in touch with the Department of Justice, or have you been planning on coordinating with the DOJ?
I don't plan on specifically coordinating with the Department of Justice. What their investigation would be is obviously election fraud that may have occurred any place in this great country. Mine is much smaller. A big investigation, but much smaller. I am only looking into election interference in the state of Georgia, and more specifically, things that they asked for around that call that occurred in my county, Fulton County.
And just lastly, how concerned are you that unless you get to the bottom of this, future elections could be subject to the same kind of claims by anybody?
Well, the truth is, my belief is that the government has lots of responsibilities and duties, but two primary responsibilities and duties are, one, that they keep their citizens safe, which is the great role of the district attorney, and two, that if we live in a free land, in a democracy, we have to have free and fair elections. And so I am very concerned that if behavior that is illegal goes unchecked, that it could lead to a very bad start, a very, very bad path. But I'm also confident that we were able today to get a cross-section of the community that will do their due diligence, that they will look at this matter, that they will investigate, and that they will give us a report at the end of their service that just goes to the truth.